gotten to a great book this summer. How about something from the author known as the Queen of Summer Reading? Mary Kay Andrews is out with a new book called Sunset Beach. What's it about? She's here in Studio B to tell us. I'm so excited to have you here in person.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
This is really, you are the queen of summer reading.
Well, maybe.
Well, yeah, I think so. It's wonderful. Tell me about this book. You said it's your most personal to date. Why is that?
Yeah, well, it's set in my hometown of St. Petersburg, Florida. I grew up in St. Pete. Sunset Beach is a real beach on the Gulf Coast of Florida where I grew up, and the protagonist is a former kiteboarder who can't kiteboard anymore. She goes to work for her father's a very flamboyant personal injury lawyer. She goes to work in his law office and finds herself quickly embroiled in not one but two mysteries.
Mysteries.
Right,
and
yeah.
we love a good mystery.
I love, you know, I have crime in my DNA.
You are the true crime lover. You're also a former journalist.
I'm a recovering journalist. I'm in recovery.
Now, what does that mean?
Oh, that means the twitches have gone away. It means I'm still fascinated with breaking stories, and especially crime stories. I started my fiction career writing mysteries.
Back in 1992, was that right?
Yeah, my first one came out in '92.
Okay, and it was, I think it's fascinating that you started that under your real name.
Right, yeah.
So tell us what your real name, I feel like we're on guest to tell the truth.
My real name is Kathy Hogan Trocheck, but you know, I wrote mysteries, and I wrote 10, and they were doing well, and I had an idea for a different kind of a book that my editor decided was a beach book.
Okay.
And so, because it was a transition thing, I took a pseudonym, which is a combination of my kids' names.
And your son's name is Andrew.
My son's name is Andrew, and my daughter is Mary Kathleen, or Mary Kay.
Mary Kay, which is just great. And when people find that out, they're like, what happened? Well, first of all, when you're...
They always assume that there are outstanding warrants.
Which is good for another book.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so this book... Why is it perfect for a summer read as opposed to, you know, typically you get into the books for summer?
I think this is a book that you not only take to the beach, it takes you to the beach. So maybe you can't get to the beach. Maybe it's raining. Right. Like today, this week. But it takes you a place you want to escape to. And it keeps you turning the pages and you forget where you are. And maybe you're on the beach and you get burned. Maybe you're at home in summer and your dinner gets burned. But it's a fast-paced book with characters that you can relate to and that you cheer for. So
when you write, do you actually write with summer in mind all the time?
It's always summer.
Oh, it's always summer.
In my brain.
In your brain,
which is great. In my brain, it's summer.
And you're writing way before the books actually come out.
I'm working on next summer's book right now. So summer 2020, summer 2019, Sunset Beach is right there between those covers. But summer 2020 is up here.
It's in your head. Yeah. Where do you get the creativity? You're a New York Times bestseller since 2008.
Right.
The creativity, are you ever nervous or pressured that something might not flow? Or I would be a little bit nervous.
Well, it's my job, and I don't take myself seriously, but I take my work seriously. But the ideas come from everywhere. I'll be driving down the street. Really, the best ideas come in the shower.
Seriously?
Always in the shower.
Isn't that fascinating? And do you get out and write it down?
I get out and I'll talk to myself, so little crazy time, or talk to my husband. I have this idea. What if I did that? Ideas come when I'm reading newspaper stories, when I'm doing research. I've been doing research for next summer's book, and I let myself go down that rabbit hole, you know?
Okay.
And then things kind of bubble up.
Are you in any of the books?
Well, some of my DNA is in every one of my protagonists. Are you any of these,
you know, and I want to get back to one of your first bosses, which was a male boss, said that you would never amount to much of a writer.
Right, he told me I wasn't a writer. He said I was barely adequate as a reporter, but I was never going to be a writer.
And how do you not take that to heart?
Well, I did take it to heart, but I thought, I'll show you.
Exactly.
I'll show you.
And you did show, and you continue to show the world.
I hope.
No, that's terrific. 22-year-old newlywed Mary Shotwell back in 1965.
Yeah, so there is a thread, a plot in Sunset Beach that concerns an old cold case disappearance. And the disappearance in my book was inspired by a real cold case in Atlanta where I live that dates all the way back to '65. And when I was a reporter, I got kind of obsessed with writing about this case.
Okay.
So in '65, Mary Shotwell Little, 22-year-old newlywed, been married only 6 weeks, goes to a shopping center in Atlanta, has dinner with a friend. They go out to the parking lot, and she tells her friend, "I'll see you tomorrow," and she vanishes.
Never to be seen again.
Never to be seen again.
And you, in real life, don't think that this crime will be ever solved?
Well, most of the principals are long gone. The case file, and this is what got me started writing about it in Sunset Beach. When the lead investigator on the Mary Shotwell Little case retired in the '80s, he died shortly thereafter. And right around that same time, the Mary Shotwell Little case file went missing.
Wow.
And so
it just went missing.
Just went missing. So, you know, some people surmised maybe he took it home, planning to solve it in his spare time, but it's disappeared.
It's disappeared.
And so when a friend of mine who's a retired detective told me that, I had that light bulb moment, and I thought, I'm going to write about that. My story is inspired by that.
I think that it's just amazing that you could take a real-life case and kind of fictionalize it and make it an incredible read.
Well, I hope so.
No, it's going to be. It's going to be. Real quick before we go, after we're done reading this book, do you have any other recommendations for summer reads?
Ellen Hildebrand, who's the queen of beach reads in this part of the country, has a new book out called Summer of '69. I love historic fiction. I'm sort of into that right now.
Okay.
I have a friend in Philly. Her book is The Lost Girls of Paris, Pam Junoff. So that's a great read. And I think anything with the beach on the cover.
Anything with the beach on the cover, including your book, which is Sunset Beach. Thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure. Thank you, Scott.
You're a delight. Continued success. Sunset Beach by Mary Kay Andrews is available now wherever books are sold.